This is Game Spotlight, and we are playing a game on Mal Warfare. As you can see, we have 3 mutators active, we have double-edged, we have missile command, and we have temporal field. So this is going to be a little bit interesting because as you can see, Nova has nothing selected over here. He's level 2 unlocked, which means Nova is a level 1 commander, and this is being played on Brutal +2 difficulty. So player 1, who is going to be Ziemson, player 2 is going to be Terribleness, and these two guys are going to be attempting to do this Brutal +2 mutator set. So very, very nasty mutator set, but this is pretty much standard for Ziemson over here, because he does like to do chill Brutal +6 difficulty co-op games, so this is pretty much going to be nothing for him. He is going to be okay, or not. So let's have a look at the prestiges and the masteries while the players get set up. Nova has nothing, obvious. And that was an interesting voice line here. We have a few Zerdat Legions over here that are going to be used to try and take on the expansion. Zeratul has gone for 30 points to the Zeratul attack speed, 30 points to the support cooldown mastery, and 30 points into the Legion cost reduction mastery here. So Nova has picked the Soldier of Fortune Prestige. I don't even know if there's going to be any benefit to getting that. I guess you're going to have a little bit of a faster barrage. That's pretty much it. And Zeratul has gone for the Herald Prestige. So that is the P3 Zeratul, the Tornado Zeratul. Really, really powerful prestige for Zeratul available. But one of the things that makes it so difficult is the double-edged mutator. The double-edged mutator is just so sucky to play against. I played against it a little bit earlier on Minor Evacuation, actually on the day I was casting this episode, so you guys can probably figure out when I casted this and make fun of me for procrastinating on my Game Spotlight game cast, but there you go. So I did play against double-edged earlier today on stream, and it was on a Minor Evacuation game, and I played Stetman, and it just sucks. So we're gonna see how these players actually go and deal with this mutator set. So Zeratul has gone for the Zerdat Legion right to start, and we'll see what the plan here for Zeratul is. Remember that he has not gone for the Artifact Spawn Mastery, but he's gone for the support cooldown reduction. So this will help him at least a little bit when it comes to pushing and not really utilize the rest of his units. Now, one of the things that's going to be a little bit difficult is this Missile Command Mutator. This Missile Command Mutator right now, you might be thinking to yourself, oh, you just build a cannon and you'll be fine. But if you guys have ever played against Mutator, you realize it just becomes absolutely insane after some time. So Zeratul has to be a little bit careful before he engages big Zergling attack waves, because he could theoretically even one-shot himself. Now, if you are careful, what you could actually do is... You can see here there's a little bit of damage. Well, if you are careful, what you could actually do is you can take advantage of Zeratul's invincibility. He gets half a second invincibility every 5 seconds, but that requires a little bit of extra timing. You can see here that Zeratul was actually doing that, and he was able to use his little swipey move to deal damage to this thing without actually taking damage to his HP bar. So that is one thing he can do, and the way you'd normally do it is as soon as you see Zeratul auto-attack, you can use your swipe move once. But remember to make sure that you have it on cooldown, otherwise bad things will happen to Zeratul. Nova already has her first set of Marines out, and she is going for her Ghost Visor upgrade, so that is going to give her the detection that she needs. The Zeratul Tornadoes are also kind of interesting here. They are apparently Zeratul Tornadoes do not take damage or do not deal damage to double edge, but unfortunately Zeratul does end up one-shotting himself. I think Zeratul ended up one-shotting himself. Yep, he ended up one-shotting himself because he poked something at the wrong time and he just exploded into tiny little bits. So now Nova will have to try and deal with this by herself, and as you can tell, Zergling attack waves are not very easy to deal with because there are a lot of units, which means that there's a lot of potential for double edge to completely wreck you. But Nova seems to be okay, drops the defensive drone down. You can see the defensive drone has almost no energy left because it just gave all the energy over to the Marines here. But now you can also see that we have the next set of point defense missiles coming out, and this is why it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Nova's just going to start kiting, use the sabotage drone here. I don't know that sabotage drone was providing too much value, but that is okay for Nova. And now we have some Tesseract monoliths as well that are going to be used to try and defend against the Missile Command Mutator. But as the mission progresses, this is going to get more and more hairy. Nova actually tucks away into the corner of the map to try and keep these things alive. Zeratul's Tornadoes are pretty much making him invincible against the double-edged Mutator, which is also really nice. So That is really cool, and that will actually help Zeratul at least weather the storm a little bit. But the Zerg attack waves are going to be very problematic, and now we have a Surdath Legion that gets used, and Zeratul wants to push in. This Surdath Legion might end up getting caught out by the Temporal Field, as the other mutator that's active. Getting caught in the Temporal Field is pretty rare, but as you can see here, this is why, because the Temporal Field doesn't last very long. It has a very small footprint, and there are not very many on the map, so not really much of a problem for these commanders. But finally, the suppression tower is down. There's a little bit of stalling on Orana's transport as well to keep her alive. And now, let's see what Zeratul is going to be doing. Amon has already started to spread creep all the way along this map here, and this is just going to be absolutely insane. The missile command mutator is going to start getting worse and worse as time goes on. Nova again, her army getting surrounded by a set of Zerglings. The sabotage drone is still over here. Sabotage drone takes way too long to detonate, so that is Nova not really getting the kind of utility from the sabotage drone that she would want, and that is okay. That Raven getting a little bit of heal as well. It is taking a little bit, has taken a little bit of damage, but it will be healed eventually over the course of time. And I think the rest of these Marines, they're still taking a little bit of damage, yeah. So Raven's gonna end up healing itself, all good. And now Zeratul is gonna start pushing in, uses a few more tornadoes. Again, needs to be a little bit careful, but he has picked up all his artifact fragments, so he's gonna be doing pretty well. And you see how quickly he's able to just cast these things and just kill off these enemies, keeping himself alive without really taking a little bit too much damage. And now Nova's going to send the sabotage drone in here as well. So again, Nova, very nice positioning on that sabotage drone. That sabotage drone will take off the Spore Crawler. And now we have a Surdath Legion. Surdath Legion does steal a couple of aberrations, which is nice for Zeratul. It doesn't mean that he'll have something to fight the enemy forces that are defending this area here. And Nova has a set of Marines and Marauders as well. Yeah, what do we have in production? We just have the mag rail munitions upgrade, or suppression shell, that's what it's called. So all in all, everything is going well, but now there's another attack over here that Zeratul will have to handle. But Zeratul is not really going to be able to have any assistance from that sabotage drone. That sabotage drone taking a lead that was a little bit out of position, and Zeratul's shield guard also gets focused out and killed. What do we have in the units lost tab? Nova hasn't actually... Does double-edged actually count on the units lost? I'm not 100% certain, but they are handling the missile command mutator a little bit. They're handling it well, but now we have the splitter missiles coming out, and these splitter missiles are really difficult to handle, so we'll see how these commanders deal with the rest of this missile command mutator. Now there are a lot of banelings on the way, and these banelings are going to end up hitting the Marines and the Marauders over here. Unfortunately, all those Marauders have gone down, and reasonably inhumane. 4 Marauders have died, and 4 Marines have given their lives here. And this is just going to get worse and worse. Oh, look, it's explosive threats. No wonder. Of course it's explosive threats. When you have such a crappy mutator set, why would you not get explosive threats as an enemy composition? So crappy mutator set, and you have a crappy composition. These things are just going to get worse and worse as more and more banelings on the way. And yeah, Nova is going to try and use Orana as a tank, which is reasonably okay. But again, that sabotage drone not able to deal anything, and these banelings are actually hitting these Marines, and this one Marine here is sitting at 8 HP right now. And actually, Nova didn't lose any of her army in that engage there. But again, that Marine has to be a little bit careful. He's sitting at 8 HP. If he attacks anything, he's going to end up dying from the double-edged damage. So has to be a little bit careful. There's a lock-on right now onto Nova's army, and oh, one of those Marines who end up getting picked off. And now this Marine is going to start attacking over here. And as you'll notice that there are no attack upgrades for Nova, and the reason why there are no attack upgrades is because if you increase your attack upgrades against double-edged, you are taking more and more damage, and it means you might not be able to out-heal the damage dealt by double-edged. So that is why attack upgrades are not obtained here. It is not a mistake. It is, I believe, at least I believe it's not a mistake. I believe it is a very intentional decision that is made on Nova's behalf to just avoid unnecessary damage on their army. The next suppression tower is out. Commanders are probably going to end up ignoring the bonus objective. It's a little bit too risky. You can see over here what's going on. It's like they are taking a little bit of damage, but they are able to slowly out-heal the damage from the double-edged mutator. And now we have another attack wave on the way. Banelings coming up, contacting Nova, but that ends up surviving. Unfortunately, the army, no pullback on the army, and some more Marines who end up dying from the suppression tower target lock damage. And now we have another set of banelings over here. Nova ends up getting completely wrecked. Few Marines on the front line also get completely wrecked. So far, Nova has lost 10 Marines and 4 Marauders. Zeratul has lost actually nothing. He's stealing all of Amon's forces and just utilizing that instead. Or if he has, I'm not really sure if double edge damage actually counts as a unit loss. It's very possible that Zeratul might have lost a few units from double edge, but we'll see here how these commanders are going to deal with this. Shield Guard being an MVP. Unfortunately, the Shield Guard gets killed off by the Baneling over here. So 2 Shield Guards have died, but that Shield Guard is just healing up this Immortal. This Immortal will end up at least a few more shields here. Immortal dealing a little bit of damage over here, but that seems to be reasonably okay. The first nuclear missile on this map is on the way, and lots of missile command mutators. Tesseract monoliths being spawned all over the place here, and now things are going to start catching fire, and we'll see how Nova's going to deal with that. She's putting down a few missile turrets to try and deal with some of these mutators. Zeratul getting a little bit of vision of the nuclear missile to kill it before it actually gets near the player's bases. So, all in all, it'll be okay. We have a few more Immortals here, and this Immortal's picking off so whatever missiles it can see. And Noah's army now wants to start pushing into the enemy base here. What do we have in production? Okay, so now we have the first attack upgrade coming up. So I think the intent here was to focus maybe on the armor upgrades first. I'm not sure why the attack upgrade is being researched. Usually you don't really want to go for your attack upgrades when you're up against double edge. There is a certain breakpoint where you will not be able to out-heal the damage, but I guess Nova might decide it might be better to go for the attack upgrades just so they can take out the suppression towers and the army units a little bit faster. So again, Ghost using some snipes here, and they are going to be taking a little bit of damage, and they have to push you very carefully. Double Edge is a really painful mutator, and now there's an Infestor has casted fungal growth onto the army, and we have also a set of Ravens here, and these Ravens will end up healing some of these Marines. Sabotage drone over here, and Zeratul is also pushing in on the back line, so it's not really too much of an issue. All that's left here for these commanders to clear out the rest of these units through the double edge mutator. Nice sabotage drone this time. It does get some of these units, and now we have the next nuclear missile on the way, and that nuclear missile is going to be a while. It's spawned right in the top right corner of the map, so this is going to be pretty good for these commanders, give them a little bit of time to handle that nuclear missile. But Oriana's transport is reasonably slow right now, so it's going to be a while before she gets to her final target. But Zeratul has cleared out the rest of these areas here, and that one random ultra just goes flying into the air. The next attack wave has spawned, and it is accompanied by a nuclear missile as well. So how are these commanders? What are these commanders going to do? This thing looks like it's going towards Zeratul's base. Potentially the expansion, I think? But I'm not sure. This attack wave is as well on the way here. Commanders are dealing with the missiles reasonably okay. Their Marines and Marauders and all that stuff is doing okay. Lots of missile turrets now for Nova, and we have some SCVs on repair duty as well. And this nuclear missile actually is going towards Nova's base, and it is accompanied by 5-point defense missiles. And this Tesseract Monolith is trying to stop this, but unfortunately this attack wave has gone right on top of the Tesseract Monolith. So what is going to happen over here? Okay, nuclear missile does get killed off by the sheer number of photon cannons and turrets. There are two ways to handle the nuclear missile. Either use a hit scan attack to kill it, or you can overwhelm the point defense missiles and overwhelm the nuclear missile. There are a few ways of dealing with it. There's another nuclear missile over here, and these Archons will end up killing this off as well. That nuclear missile looks like it wanted to hit these Archons, which is kind of weird. But suppression tower over here now does go down, and Nova's army is going to be trying to get into position for the next suppression tower. This next suppression tower is on the high ground over here in this little camp, so we'll have to try and clear that as well, which will be a bit of a problem for these commanders. We have Zeratul casting a few tornadoes here, just trying to weaken some of these enemy units. It's gonna be a while before he's gonna clear these units out with his tornadoes, especially even if he has a lot of them. So we'll see how Nova is gonna go and engage. Oh, she wants to go and engage this attack. We've done a lot of aberrations there. These aberrations are gonna start slapping their way across and dealing some more damage to these Marauders. And Zeratul does jump in to help his ally as well. And now there is another temporal field, and some of actually a big chunk of Nova's army does get caught in the temporal field. And now his army is going to be moving forward here. Zeratul wants to try and deal with this. Hybrid Dominator casts a Plasma Blast on Zeratul, and Zeratul does manage to avoid it. Hybrid Dominator reasonably upset with Zeratul right now. He's keeping an eye out on him. And now Hybrid Dominator is going to cast another Plasma Blast right on top of Nova's army. Nova's army gets hit by the suppression tower slow ability here, and just a bunch of targets as well onto Zeratul. And now Zeratul is using this Serdab Legion, and they will end up clearing out this suppression tower. You can see over here, one of those guys I think did end up dying because of the damage from double-edged. And now the next one is going to be accompanied by another harass wave. So Nova will have to be careful now with this next part. It's going to be a little bit tricky. Probably using Zeratul as backup might be useful. Hybrid Behemoth somewhat upset with Nova's army and uses the draw ability to try and weaken Nova. And a lot of Swarm Host Locusts over here, so detection needs to be casted. And now over here, Zeratul is going to have to try and deal with his attack wave. So he's going to be weakening this attack wave a little bit, and they do end up aggroing Zeratul. Zeratul has to be careful now before using his swiping move, otherwise he will end up one-shotting himself. Nova's army jumps into position as well to help, and she's going to be getting hit by this next low ability as well on some of her units. And she's going to start pushing in as well. So she will start to deal damage to the suppression tower, but again, has to be a little bit careful. These units are going to be taking a little bit too much damage here. And again, has to be very careful in the start step too. Yeah, that one guy ended up dying, one marine did end up dying over here, and yeah, that is the end of that suppression tower. A total of 14 marines and 5 marauders have died so far. 2 of the missile turrets have gone down as well, and now Orion's transport is sitting at 1,200 HP because it has been taking a pounding from the Zerg forces here. And now there's another nuclear missile, and will this nuclear missile end up hitting? And it is going to detonate on top of Nova's expansion. Press F for all those SCVs. Those SCVs have just gotten nuked, and Nova has lost 18 SCVs so far. It is very, very painful right now for Nova, because Nova actually has banked up a good amount of resources, so she'll be able to at least get her army out, but she will have to try and remax on the army very, very quickly. And now we have another swarm host on the way. There is another nuclear missile here that will get picked off by Noah's army, and these commanders will have to try and push into this next area, because remember, Orion's transport is not going to heal by very much. It heals by 5,000 HP only per time it actually goes inside these security terminals here. So Orana is pretty fragile after she takes a pounding from the Zerg army. So let's see what these commanders are going to be doing here. Zeratul has to work pretty much on overtime right now to help Nova start pushing, but I think Zeratul might have ended up dying because he ended up one-shotting himself at some point. But that next bonus objective is there, but that bonus objective is not going to be done. And we have a few swarm hosts here. This is actually a very nice choice for Zeratul to try and heal these swarm hosts. You can at least use the locusts to weaken some more of these enemy forces. Now Nova is using a sabotage drone here, and remember, Nova is a level 1 Nova. She has nothing. She has no nuke. She has nothing of any. She has nothing of use. All her upgrades are locked. Everything is locked over there. And now the Hybrid Dominator is very upset with Nova's army. He's going to cast a Plasma Blast right on top of her army over there, and they're going to try and take out this Hybrid Dominator, not before taking a few more losses. And now Nova has to try and push in the rest of her army, pulling back on some more of these forces to make sure they do not end up killing themselves from the double-edged damage. But there are a lot of losses over here, and yeah, it does not look like the double-edged damage actually counts on this. So these Marauders are, this is not a true indication of the losses that Nova has taken from units, because I think the double-edged mutator counts as damage you're dealing to yourself, and if you kill yourself, then it does not really count on the unit's lost step. It's only units that you have lost to Amon's forces. So
it's the fight you've all been waiting for.
Indeed it is. But we have a lot of heavy losses here for these commanders, and we will see how these commanders are going to deal with this next wave. Remember, we're not sitting at about 6,000 HP. There's another attack wave on the way here. Zeratul trying to stall this attack wave and try and keep these things off Orana, but these aberrations might end up aggroing some more of these Tesseract Monoliths, and they have to try and keep the Tesseract Monolith alive. That thing goes down, and it's permanent loss for your units. So Nova's going to start pushing in, and now you have to try and deal with this suppression tower. Where is Nova? Did Nova end up dying? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Nova ended up dying. No, Nova is chilling over here. But now there was an attack wave, blinding cloud on top of the Nova army here, and you can hear Ghost screaming in pain, in agony, as they have been brought down to 0 HP by Amon's forces. And now there is another set of units here that are causing some more problems with Zeratul. Zeratul trying to push in. Nova is also trying to deal a little bit of damage, but getting slowed down by the field, combined with a large number of units in Amon's forces, and these hybrids are really, really tanky. Nova trying to get out of the way of that lock-on damage, because that thing one-shots a lot of units here. And Nova just, yeah, you can just see that the amount of units that Nova is taking, the amount of damage. Yeah, see, that doesn't count. If you pay attention to the units that she's losing right now, that does not count on double edge damage. The Nova is down to 63 supply, and that is how you can tell bad things are happening to them. Nova has actually not rebuilt she's not retaken the mining on her expansion, so that is also stifling her economy because she has lost a lot of the resources there in her mineral game. Her bank that she has built up is pretty much gone. And yeah, the other thing as well is that Nova doesn't have Griffin Airstrike, which would have made this mission so much easier because it means you do not have to deal damage to your own stuff here. Nova's gonna try and 8-click through, taking a few losses here. Marine dying over there, and now Orana's transport is sitting at about 1,800 HP. And we are still not done. We still have a double suppression tower spawn here. So this is going to be very, very difficult. Nova will have to push and bar stuff. I do not know if Zeratul is going to be able to help very much. He is casting his tornadoes as well. Let's be a little bit careful with how he does this. And again, like I said, he has his invincibility, which can actually help him. One of the good things about casting all these cannons in these areas here is that it draws the nuclear missiles away because they start to aggro the units that you have built here. Another attack wave for Orana. Orana taking a little bit more damage from that Viper. Viper has nothing better to attack. And now we have the double suppression tower spawn. So Zeratul going to try and push in here using some more tornadoes to weaken some of these things with the help of the Tesseract cannons and Tesseract Molotov. Raynor's or Noah's army is going to be dealing a little bit more damage as well. And now Zeratul gets into position here to try and weaken at least the escort wave here for the suppression tower. Orana's sitting at about 1,000 HP on her transport. So the suppression tower is going to start attacking Orana, and it's going to be, like I said, very problematic for these commanders. And not to mention, there's going to be another attack wave that is making its way towards Orana's transport. Over here, Noah's army tries to deal with this, but do you want to deal with the big scary hybrid, or do you want to deal with the attack wave? It looks like these commanders want to deal with the hybrid first, because this attack wave ends up wiping out every single piece of static defense here for Orana. Orana is now sitting at 400 HP, lots of aberrations dealing damage here, and Nova also getting hit by it. Was that a nuke? That was probably a nuclear missile there. But I think Orana might be done. Yeah, Orana is done with 33 HP left on her transport. But that is GG easy. Yes, indeed, they said it was easy. Not even close. 33 HP left on Orana's transport. And that is GG.